We usually spend our time on this show talking about, the flashy screens or the actual content on them. But today, I kind of want to get into the headache of just getting that content from point A to point B. You know the drill, these massive bundles of HDMI cables, extenders that just decide to fail, trying to drag high-quality video across a huge building.
Oh, it's the classic battle.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
You either run incredibly expensive dedicated copper cabling everywhere, or you try to stream it over the network and just watch the quality completely nosedive.
Exactly. But we're looking at a device today that sort of claims to be the peace treaty in that war. We're doing a deep dive into the Kramer KDS-17EN. It's a little box that says, hey, I can take your professional super high-end video and just send it over the standard network cables you already have in the walls.
And looking at the specs here from HDTV Supply and Kramer, it's not just scraping by.
Huh.
This is really aimed at the heavy hitters. We're talking enterprise offices, government facilities, universities, basically places where buffering is just not an option.
So let's scrutinize that claim a bit. The headline feature is 4K 60, 4.4.4. Now, I get 4K, and 60 frames per second means smooth motion, that's clear. But that 4.4.4, is that just marketing fluff? Honestly, if I'm just projecting a quarterly report or, a lunch menu, do I really need cinema-grade color?
You'd be surprised, but you probably need it more for the quarterly report than you do for the movie.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. That 4.4.4 refers to something called chroma subsampling. When you watch a movie, streaming services often compress the color data because, well, our eyes aren't great at spotting color loss in moving pictures. But if you do that to a spreadsheet or fine text, it gets fuzzy, that red font on a black background suddenly looks washed out. This device keeps every single pixel's color data perfectly intact.
Okay, so no blurry Excel cells, that's a win. But it's not just video. The name of the unit is AVoIP Encoder with Dante.
Which is huge. Think of Dante as, like, the USB of the professional audio world. Instead of running dozens of heavy analog audio cables for all your mics and speakers, Dante digitizes everything and sends it over one standard Ethernet wire, all perfectly in sync.
So it handles all the fancy stuff, Dolby Atmos, DTS-D, right alongside the video. But here's where I see a potential problem. If you start shoving uncompressed 4K video and all this high-end audio down a standard network pipe, aren't you going to trip every alarm in the server room? I mean, the IT director is going to hate this thing for hogging all the bandwidth.
Oh, that's usually the friction point, yeah.
Yeah.
But the KDS-17EN gets around it with this JPEG 2K-like compression. It's a really specialized way of squeezing the data just enough to fit onto a standard 1 gigabit network.
Without wrecking the picture.
The specs claim it's visually lossless, so
Right.
the AD team gets that perfect picture they demand, but the file size is small enough that the IT team doesn't see their network grind to a complete halt.
Yeah.
It's efficient.
Okay, so it plays nice with the bandwidth. What about the physical installation? I'm still picturing a team of technicians needing to rewire the entire ceiling.
It seems like it's designed to avoid exactly that. It supports both unicast, so one-to-one streaming, and multicast for sending one feed to hundreds of screens, all using standard protocols. Plus, the box itself, physically, it's built to be ignored. It's fanless.
Which just means it's quiet.
Quiet and durable, yeah. It uses convection ventilation, so there are no moving parts to clog up with dust or break down inside a ceiling somewhere.
All right, we have to touch on the big one, security. If I'm a bank or a government agency, the absolute last thing I want is to plug a new video encoder into my network and accidentally create a backdoor for hackers. IoT devices are kind of notorious for being weak spots.
Kramer clearly knew that was the main barrier to entry. They didn't just add a password, they really hardened this thing. It uses AES-256 encryption, which is banking grade, but more importantly, it's OWASP Pay 10 compliant.
I saw that in the notes. That's a web security standard, right?
It is. The Open Web Application Security Project. They track the top 10 most critical security risks, things like code injection or broken access control. Being compliant means this device has been stress tested against those specific threats. It's a fortified endpoint, not just some dumb video player.
It even supports 802.1x for network access control, so you can lock down exactly who or what gets to talk to it, and it runs on PoE plus ARTS, so you don't even need a power outlet nearby, just the network cable.
It just streamlines the entire infrastructure top to bottom.
And at around $1,200, it feels like this is the kind of device that finally blurs the line completely.
It does. It really stops being AV infrastructure and just becomes part of the IT infrastructure.
Which makes you wonder, with devices like this making 4K streaming over standard networks so efficient and so secure, are we maybe reaching the end of the HDMI cable? Are we looking at a future where everything is just software defined?
As the hardware gets this good at just disappearing into the network, I think we just might be.
Something to think about next time you're trying to plug in a projector. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.